Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Glenn Tan speaking. This time, I will continue to talk about GRID Multi-VRF ERV. This presentation divides into these two parts. For your convenience, I have put the corresponding video linkage at the below description area. ERV plus Dix coil. First of all, what is ERV plus Dix coil? This is the unit. You can find that this part is the same as the ERV, right? We just plus this Dix coil. This Dix coil is the direct expansion, which is just compared with the water. Inside, we just flow the refrigerant to make heat exchange. And here is how the inside structure. We have the filter and also the fan motor, two of it. And this is the heat exchange core for the ERV. We just plus this heat exchanger. The indoor air will get through to here and discharge fresh air from here, and then at last it will make heat exchange at this heat exchanger. And also it can manually turn on or turn off this ERV plus Dix coil, and also linkage with the GMV system. And also if you connect with this air box, it can also, according to the indoor air quality, to turn on or turn off the ERV plus Dix coil. To answer what is ERV plus Dix coil, first it is integrated the ERV system with the heat exchanger, and also this is a fresh air, so the control target will become the air out temperature of the fresh air, and there is a constant air volume control inside and multi-modes to achieve the energy saving, and later I will make a detailed introduction. And this is the product line gap of the ERV plus Dix coil. Currently there are only these three models, and from here this phi means the air volume at high fan speed, and also the last alphabet means the power supply. It is single phase. I also put the cooling capacity, heating capacity, and the air volume, temperature, efficiency, and the ESP, noise, net weight, size here just for your reference. Pre-filter. Here is this one. This is the picture of the inside material, and here is also the pictures. And first of all, and the function of it is just to protect the heat exchange core, which means the air either from the outdoor, the fresh air, or the indoor, the low quality air. You need to get through this pre-filter first. And the other function is to filter the air and large contaminants, which is the large material. As for the materials inside of this filter, here is actually it is the fiber with special process, which is this one. And the features is multi-plate structure, low resistance. This can ensure the large air volume, and also the dust filter capacity also is large, lightweight, and easier to replace or washable, just like this. After the air gets through the pre-filter, it will get to the heat exchange core, which is this one. First, we find that the air will just make heat exchange just like this. It is adverse current design. This is to higher the heat transfer efficiency. On the other hand, it is hexagon design, also to longer the make heat exchange distance, also to higher the transfer efficiency. As for the inside material, it is actually the paper with special process. It can also just make heat and moisture to exchange. with each other, and also to shut down or to shield the CO2 to avoid the contamination. And also there is no fire risk. And it is module designed to ensure the pitch which is between the papers, and this can lower the resistance and higher the structure intensity. And this table is the comparison, especially with and without this ERV during summer, which is cooling, and winter, which is heating. So here is with and without for different model. Basically, the ratio of the efficiency, it can achieve this 73%. Constant air volume control, that is, if we use this ERV plus Dex coil for a long time, there are lots of the dust will get tank or accumulated at the filter, either from the fresh air or from the indoor side. At that time, it will increase the ESP loss, which is to lower the air volume. So this is not that good, but with our GREE model, we can achieve this constant control, which is within our max ESP range. We can automatically increase the fan RPM to ensure the air volume, which can prolong the maintenance time. So on these two pictures, it is for different model, connect with different air ducting for different curve. And within the max 150 part of the ESP, we can ensure it will have the corresponding air volume. For example, at the first beginning, we already set the air volume to be 400, and that the connected air ducting, it is 55 part. And the longer we use, this 55 will increase. However, even if it within this 150, we can ensure it always has this 400 air volume. This can ensure the air volume to improve the air quality and also prolong the maintenance time, which is to clean or to replace the filter. The reason why we need to add this Dex coil at the ERV, it is to lower the fresh air impact to the indoor, especially when the outdoor and indoor temperature difference is huge. For example, and in this example, it is cooling. Outdoor, the ambient is 35, indoor room temperature is 27. So when we introduce the fresh air on this air enthalpy diagram, first it is here, and then after get through the heat exchange core, which is to make heat exchange or humidity exchange with the indoor air, it will go to this number 2, which is to change the temperature and the humidity. And then after get through the heat exchange core, and then it will go to this number 3, which is here to cool down and also air conditioning to improve or to cool down the building. And here is playing the temperature fluctuation reason, which is the suddenly change just due to we introduced the fresh air if without this coil. And the other is if the fresh air and the indoor air, the temperature difference is huge, also will higher the indoor unit, the capacity, which is to higher the loads. Auto mood exchange, which is inside the ERV, there are air damper to control either the fresh air or the indoor air, whether it need to get through this heat exchange core to make heat exchange. For example, during summer or winter, as we would like to make heat recovery, then we can introduce the fresh air and the indoor air to make heat exchange here and recover the energy. On the wire controller, it will display this icon. And in the transitional season, for example, cooling, when we find that the outdoor ambient is cold, but inside the building it is still hot, at that time we just need to introduce the fresh air or to cool down the building. Is fine, which means no need to make heat exchange here to heating up the fresh air. So just like this, it is bypass mode, this icon on the wire controller. And if the outdoor ambient is very low or the humidity is extremely high, which means we don't like to introduce this low quality fresh air, so we can only discharge the inside air just like this and not make heat exchange. And this icon on the wire controller. Positive and negative pressure mode. Inside the unit there are two fan motors. We can control this two fan motor RPM to achieve different combination. The first is the balance mode. That means these two fan motor, the air volume, they are almost the same, and also we can make these two to make heat exchange inside this heat exchange coil to achieve the balance mode, which is the energy recovery. Positive pressure mode, that means introduce more but discharge less. That means we can make the outdoor air from leaking into the indoor. This leaking is happen at the gate of the door or windows. This is very helpful when the outdoor ambient, the fresh or the air, the quality is not that high. Negative pressure mode, that means we will discharge more just compare with the fresh air, just get through this heat exchange coil. The purpose of it is just to prevent the indoor polluted air or drain leaking into the outdoor. It's very helpful during the COVID-19 because we will not release the indoor air from the gap of the door or the window. They must get through this heat exchange coil. And here we can also make the countermeasure to make it clean. Free cooling. The first is during transitional season. For example, in spring or in autumn, we find that during one day, either the daytime or nighttime, the outdoor ambient is lower than our set point. So we will introduce the fresh air all day long to cool down the building. And even during summer, we find that in the morning and at night time, the outdoor ambient is lower than our set point, so we can also introduce the fresh air to cool down the building. The last is at night. When we find the outdoor ambient is lower than our set point, we can also introduce the fresh air to cool down the building. And on the other hand, this can also improve the air quality. Here is the special wired controller for the ERV Plus DEX coil. It is XE70. Actually, it is the same as the regular GMV high-end wire controller. What it can do is also this black color. And first is it can remind you to clean or replace the filter. And there are total 5 fan speed for the level setting. And available for 2 wire controller. You need to set either one of it as the master and the other is the slave wired controller. And we offer you 2 timer, which is the countdown and weekly timer. And there is a constant air volume control for each fan speed level. And it can display the air quality, which is the CO2 concentration value or the PM2.5 room temperature and humidity, which is from the air box. And it can also view time to check or to display the fresh air temperature and humidity. And it can change different operating mode, which is to change the 2 fan motor, the RPM, to achieve different combination. And also there is a power off memory function. For the wirings, it is the same as the GNV regular in-dock unit, which means we support one of these wire controller for one in-dock unit and two to control one in-dock unit. And also we support the group control, which is one wire controller to max group control 16 of this ERV plus DEX coil, and also two to group control max 16 ERV plus DEX coil units. For the filter clean or replace reminder, which is according to your local air quality, you need to set this reminder to remind you to wash or to replace. And basically, you can just follow this table, which is according to the air quality, excellent, good, pollution. And then we will have different period for wash and replace. You can take it as your reference. That's all for this presentation. If you still have any other question to ask or to discuss or any suggestion, please feel free to contact me on my personal email address.